So you all seen my Illustrator file here?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to record this. We're going to be looking at taking our sketches into Illustrator and design and creating our vector graphics, So we're going to first start off by, I've just brought in, and you can do that a couple ways. You can go File, Place, and choose the picture from your computer and choose where it is coming from and place it, choose whatever image it is. And so we have Maddie's picture, so I can grab it that way. There it is, and then hit place, or you can drag it on from your, either way is fine. So once I have it here, I'm going to open up my layers window. And I'm going to do that because I want to add multiple layers. I want to take this sketch and I want to lock it on a layer so that I don't move it. So when I'm working, it's not going to move. There's nothing worse than having that move around. So I'm going to create another layer and call this working. I'm going to say, okay, the bottom layer where I have my artwork, I'm going to call that sketch. I'm going to name my layers. It's so helpful to get in the habit of naming your layers so you know what they are once you get further along. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in real close and look at the artwork I have here. And I'm going to take our shape. We're going to go back to that shape tool that we started using at the beginning of our class. And I'm going to create, hold on a minute. I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. You have to be on your working layer. You have to select the working layer. So now I'm on my working layer. There's my shape. I'm going to go ahead and make it a fill. I don't want an outline. So down here is where you fill, and you can double click on that color and make it any color. I'm just going to make it a color so we can see it. I can also work on a transparency so that I can see what I'm looking at, so that I can see that sketch underneath. So up here at the top, you can see a opacity is at 100%. I can make it 50% so I can still see my sketch. And that's sometimes very helpful. Once I've created it, I can adjust the size. And if I reduce this, then I can see my sketch. Maddie, yeah, you had a question.
Yeah, I think this also translates to like the differences between like the desktop version and the iPad version, because the iPad version, there is like only a third of the options that it gives you compared to like the desktop version. So I'll just have to switch to that instead. I just use the iPad because it's portable, but I can definitely switch because I feel like it's a lot more limited to what you're able to do.
That's and I'm not as familiar with the iPad version, so thank you for sharing that. That's something that, and you have the latest version on your iPad right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you might want to switch to the desktop version to have more options.
I think I'll have to do that going forward.
So now I'm just making a rectangle. Again, I'm going to bring the opacity down so I can see it, because I want to just cut my circle right there. So I'm going to grab the 2 and I'm going to go into the tool Pathfinder. And Pathfinder has a lot of options. And there's these little pictures here that kind of give you an idea. So the unite, if I wanted the 2 together, minus front, which is what I'm going to use. And look, it just took, and then it made us that shape. So now I can go back to my opacity here, pull it back to 100%. Okay, and there's my shape. I'm going to go back to my circle. I'm going to make a circle here, and I'm going to make this yellow because this is the light. I'm just doing this again, the colors right now, just so you can see the different shapes. We're going to make this. Why is it all muddy looking? It's getting brighter looking. Just so we can see the different shapes right now. So here I can take these 2 and align them. These alignment tools are up here at the top. And if you click here, that's aligning. So this circle is perfectly aligned in the center of this half circle I just made. Okay, now I'm going to take this Pathfinder tool and I'm going to unite them. So now they're all one unit. And I'm doing that so that if I want to make this overall my icon to be outlined, I can go over here, switch this to an outline. I'm going to make it a different color so I can see it. I can adjust the stroke weight. I can make it like really heavy. Let's say I make it 5. So there's now the light all as one unit. Now, if I don't want them one unit, I don't have to do that. I can undo. You can undo as many times as you want in Illustrator. You can go back 100 steps. I'm actually going to make a copy of this because I'm not quite sure which way I want to go. So I'm going to hold my Shift, Option, Command down, or your Shift, or I think it's called Shift, Alt, Command in a PC. Hold all 3 down. And when you do that, you'll see that you can duplicate. So this way I can try it a couple different ways. I can say, okay, I want it as 1 because I'm going to do an outline and that's how I want it to be. Or maybe I don't. I have a couple options. I'm going to play with the weights and make it black for right now. Okay, so then you can also keep going and saying, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to make these ellipses. I'm going to fill it. And I'm going to zoom in. So let's say I want to make these. Let me take that out. I'm going to actually go back to the star tool. Excuse me. You can make the star 3 points, which of course makes a triangle. And I'm showing you that because she has these shapes in her sketch that I'm going to rotate it, that look kind of like a triangle. Of course, this is a sharp edged triangle and this is way too big. So let me bring it down in size just to kind of look at it and go up here. If I click in, I'm going to make it not black so you guys can see it better. Let's go with green. If I click in with my direct select tool, which is the white arrow, you see these little curves at the corner. I can curve this, right? I can curve this. I can also come down here and grab this bottom point. I can use my pen tool and grab this anchor point tool, which is this little V tool. The reason I'm grabbing that is it allows me to curve my edges. I go back to the pen tool, and when I roll over these extra points, I can delete them. And overall, this is allowing me to play with this shape. So I can have it be real graphic like this if I want, which I think I'm kind of going for this graphic look. I can adjust the scale again, get it where I want it. I can align it with these 2 objects. I can go up to my align tool and center that. I can then duplicate it. Again, I'm holding the Shift, Alt, or Option, Command key down, and I'm duplicating this. And then I'm rotating it I'm in my selection tool and I'm just rotating these. So again, I'm just, using that shape tool that we started using. I'm incorporating a few other things. I'm working with the pen tool to make some edits and changes. So then I'm going to go up here, keeping with the tape. I'm going to go to the rectangle tool. I'm going to build a rectangle here. I'm going to adjust my corners so that they're more rounded. I'm going to align. I'm going to take my select tool again. Here's my rectangle. Here's my lamp. I'm going to align them again. And now I'm going to merge them. So now I have that. Outline it again so I can see. And I have this little circle here. I'm going to grab a circle. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to align them again. Merge. So you see, I'm just building up this outer shape. I have this curved element here. I'm going to use my pen tool. So here's that pen tool. The way the pen tool works, and this is something that takes some practice, is I'm clicking and dragging out these handles. My line is attached to the edge of the end of the pen. Every click I make makes a point, and when I click and pull, I pull out these handles. I'm going to click on that point, hold my shift key down to hold it, to have a straight line. Then I'm going to come back down to my lamp, pull to kind of get that curve, link, link. And I'm doing that so I have a solid shape. So let me move in so you can see what I did. So here you can see this is the path. Use my direct select tool to make any edits. I don't like how this is kind of creating a sharp edge right there. I want to curve it. So I'm going to go into my pen tool to the anchor point tool. Select this anchor, adjust the curve, and adjust the curve. If I want to curve just one angle, that the anchor point tool allows me to do that. Go back to my white direct select tool, bring it down. Now, if I want to see it without the sketch, that's why I'm working in layers. I can just go to the eyeball and turn the sketch off. And now I can look at the lamp and say, I don't like how that shape is. I can come back in and make edits however I see fit based on, now that I'm not looking at this sketch, which might be distracting me below. And so then I can also say, okay, are these all aligning? Not really. So let me grab all of this and say, nope, not center. How do I want to align these two? Maybe horizontally. This and this is aligned on the center line. Oops. Hold on, I got to be, I'm sorry, I'm in the direct select tool. You got to be in the regular selection tool. Centered. These three. Actually, I want these two aligned horizontally, or the vertical line. And then I want to center them on the, no, I don't think that's the way. What's the best way to organize this? They're at the same height. Oh, I know what I want to do. Just I'm going to eyeball it there. So I'm going to turn my, so is that helping how to build a shape, right? So that's building a shape. Now, once you have the shapes you want, then you want to think about your stroke weight, having everything feel consistent. Should it be, what size did I just make this? 5 point. Just, should it be filled in? Should it be a big bulky line? Is it a combination of the two? How are we want to organize the elements? These are ultimately all going to be there we go. Black. That you might want to fill in parts, some parts solid, some part, depending on your design. So that's how you start kind of building up those shapes, taking it one shape at a time. So it's a little different than when you're drawing. And we're drawing with a pen. So what you're seeing, I'm trying to show you is this idea of like building items out of shapes, which much like Von Glitschka showed us in his videos. Maddie, what are you feeling about that as you're seeing me go through that?
It's definitely easier on the desktop. It's just harder on iPad, I think, just because the tools are different and like the placement is different. And it doesn't have like a lot of the extra things that you can do. Even like the shape tools that it gives you are different. So it's
Really? You don't
yeah,
have
because
the
they don't,
same shape tools?
well, I have like square, circle, star, but it gives you triangle. Doesn't give you like a rhombus or anything. So it's a little bit different in that, but I think it would definitely be easier on desktop just because like even like the text stuff is different. So
Okay.
I think I just have to switch. It'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, I feel
Okay.
because
Okay.
something about iPad is like you don't really use a mouse, so all the curvatures and all the points are going to be a little bit harder to work with. It's kind of easier on desktop to get like like a immediate response or like a correct like straight line and stuff like that.
Like even the when you do like the lining, so like when you adjusted the thickness of the line, sometimes it doesn't work on the iPad. You can still adjust the thickness, but sometimes it just doesn't, like even if you select the item, it just doesn't change the thickness. So it's definitely not convenient for iPad.
Okay. Okay.